But it doesn't stop there. I want you guys to follow me inside here. You can see how the winds tore through the entirety of the hangar, and take a look at that. This is what 97-mile-per-hour winds look like. Now, the damage wasn't contained just to the airport. I spoke to a family who sheltered during the storm. Here's what they had to say. Yeah, well, they found that this sorting facility behind me was not aligned with the USPS's goals. Now, I spoke to some union members today. They say they're not pleased. Take a look right behind me here. This is a photo from a viewer showing hail that's around 3 inches long. Now, that's on top of those gusty winds and tornado reports. MoDOT said that at this point in time, they've removed about half of the 6 million pounds of steel that was resting in the Missouri River. How'd they do it? Well, the answer is with those cranes. The expansion itself is impressive. They added an east and a west wing to the pavilion, totaling an extra 500 feet of covered market space.
Imagine you have 2 letters, one going to Columbia, one going to St. Louis. Right now, both letters would go to the Columbia facility first, where Mid-Missouri letters would be sorted out and the St. Louis mail would be sent on to St. Louis. The Columbia Farmers Market has come a long way.
We started out with a little piece of parking lot.
And after plans decades in the making, it just got bigger. Under the previous design, 2/3 of the vendors were set up outside.
If you were lucky enough, you had a tent over your head or an umbrella.
Jim Teese says on some days that hurt business.
If it rains, there was no market. Customers just didn't show up. So regardless of what product you had, you just couldn't sell it. Now where we have cover and protection, customers will grab their umbrella, get in the shade, they'll take some time.
With the expansion in place, Teese says he expects year-round sales.
We're depending on having sales every week.
Even in the winter.
We have drop-down vinyl walls on this pavilion, so we just kind of zip the center section up, and we have heaters.
Corinna Smith says she wants everyone to feel comfortable.
It's kind of even playing field for everybody.
The expansion itself is impressive. They added an east and a west wing to the pavilion, totaling an extra 500 feet of covered market space. So yes, the building is great, but what it gives back to the farmers is what really matters.
Becoming a culture here.
Farmers say this will help them connect with the community.
That's so important.
A community he's excited to keep coming back to.
Made so many friends, it's like a second family.
Every time there's bad weather, every time there's a wreck, it's going to be later.
Columbia postal workers could be losing a facility and their jobs.
Every other place, they've lost between 20 and 30 clerks.
And Jim Marsden, president of the Postal Workers Union, isn't happy.
I don't know how you call this forward.
The USPS revealed the results of their review of a Columbia facility today, saying that Columbia's P&DF facility doesn't match the service's goals and would be better covered by St. Louis.
And we're going to wait for somebody in St. Louis to pull the Mid-Missouri mail out to send it back to us.
Imagine you have 2 letters, one going to Columbia, one going to St. Louis. Right now, both letters would go to the Columbia facility first, where Mid-Missouri letters would be sorted out and the St. Louis mail would be sent on to St. Louis. Under the proposed changes, both letters would go straight to St. Louis, making it their job to send it back to Mid-Missouri. The USPS says this change would be a better use of resources. Marsden says that the loss of the Columbia facility means there's no safety net if something goes wrong.
It's a nice plan as long as there's no snow, as long as there's no ice, as long as there's no wreck.
And he says he'll do everything he can to keep the facility alive.
It just hurts. It hurts me with my coworkers, and it hurts me with everybody I see that knows I work at the post office.
It's a battle of the bands. The marching bands. 11 Mid-Missouri high schools competing to be crowned the champion of champions.
We have a championship culture here at the University of Missouri, certainly, and so we want our participants to compete to be the champion of champions.
High school marching band students performed their shows on Faurot Field. with hundreds of family, friends, and fans cheering them on.
It's exciting for them to be here in a college town, certainly in Memorial Stadium, performing on a collegiate marching band field.
Each high school's performance had a theme with music to match, like the moody and mysterious music of Hazelwood West's Eclipse Show, to Wentzville Liberty's Wizard of Oz theme, playing their rendition of If I Only Had a Brain. While up in the stands, a father of a Wentzville marcher watched his son perform on Faroe for the first time.
The performance was excellent. They did really well despite the wind.
He's a Marching Mizzou alum, something he says means a lot to him.
As a student here, I was in Marching Mizzou, so to see my son on the field here was, a huge joy.
And while the trophy is nice, the experience is much better.
It's a really good opportunity for these students, these aspiring musicians, to get to see Marching Mizzou, one of the best college marching bands in the nation. Shows them what's possible, what they may achieve in their future.